Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the last bit within the business sectors, and this is the sectors of industry, or the different sectors of the industry. So we covered public versus private, and we covered informal versus formal, all within the private sector. Now we're going to be looking at sectors of the industry. So, if we look at sectors of the industry, the first one we look at is the primary sector. So, even when we look at the chain of production, the primary sector is the first stage. Suppliers in the primary sector supply raw materials by being involved in activities such as farming, animal husbandry, fishing, forestry, and mining. When we look at these industries, farming, so these are people providing raw materials. It could be fruit and veg, it could be people farming a certain type of plant, it could be, whatever it may be. So you could farm animals, which refers to husbandry. That basically means farming animals for the purpose of food, or so meat, milk, eggs, whatever it may be. Fishing for the same purpose, and then forestry and mining. So if we look at our surrounding areas and the in Mpumalanga where we're surrounded by macadamia farms, avocado farms, citrus farms. Those are all big up here. We also have, not too far from us, if we drive on the way down to Sabi, all the forests, and the main purpose of those is logging. So whether it's used for paper or furniture, it's a raw material. So these industries are also known as extractive industries. So anything that's part of or an extractive industry is somewhere where resources are extracted from the earth. Sorry, I've just seen it says form. It is meant to be from the earth. Right. Moving on. After the primary sector, we move on to the secondary sector. So the secondary sector is the second stage in the chain of production. Sorry, just another mistake here. It's been a busy week, people. So suppliers in the secondary sector will supply semi-finished goods to other manufacturers or be involved in processing or manufacturing activities which aim to turn raw materials into products with a greater or different use for the final consumer. So, if we think of a production line or a chain of production, you start off with your raw materials, and then from there, you need to start producing something. So, in our secondary sector, the main two things that we look at are manufacturing or assembly. So, either manufacturing close to the final good or assembling parts of the final good. So, if we think of our paper industry, we get our logs in our primary sector that goes straight to the paper mill. The paper mill or paper factory serves as part of the secondary sector. They produce the paper, they process the wood, they treat it, they do whatever the processing of making paper, and then from there it goes through its manufacturing activities, whether it's paper or furniture, and all of a sudden those logs now have a different use for the customer. So on the back of that, we end off with the tertiary sector. So the tertiary sector is directed at the provision of goods and services and the distribution of goods and services which are made in the secondary sector. So all the goods, whether it's the paper or the furniture that is made in the secondary sector, the tertiary sector aims to provide those goods or get those goods to the customer. So suppliers in the tertiary sector include wholesalers who sell the goods that are ready to be used to retailers who then distribute the goods to the final consumer. So this This all goes back to our distribution channels from your manufacturer and your producer, and they go through the different channels of distribution. So it might be through an agent, a wholesaler, a retailer, or directly to the consumer. So anything that gets the product from the manufacturer to the consumer is seen as the tertiary sector of the industry. So auxiliary services for marketing, which we touched on, or you should have read over during the Lorax assignment, um, this also forms part of the tertiary sector, as it was a way to get the goods and services to the customer. Guys, once again, I will be available via email for those of you at home. Obviously, those of you in class can ask me questions where necessary. Um, that is us for today, people, and that is business sectors done and dusted. Tomorrow, we will start off with our entrepreneurship and management, chapter 6. And yeah, once again, please study for the test on the 28th of July. It's a Tuesday. For those of you at home, a reminder, the letter will be sent out hopefully by Wednesday this week as to the process of how the test will operate, and we'll move on from there. Ladies and gents, well done, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.